to get through, so let's get into it. This is a Tekto F1 Alpha pocket knife in D2 and carbon fiber. Now, I'm going to be comparing this to another knife here in a moment. And we'll see this is 7 3/4, 3.5 inch blade on this, coming in right in at 3 ounces, so extremely light knife. The carbon fiber does it some justice. I think because it's a smaller blade, especially in my hands, I don't exactly like it because it's just a little bit too small here. We'll give some comparisons here. We'll go up against the Buck 110, up against the Ontario Rat #1. You can see this is a little bit smaller knife. But I also have a Ganzo FH12-SS, and the reason why I'm comparing this knife is because of the similarities to this Tekto. We're going to talk about this because I think it's important. They're both D2 steel. Obviously, we have some difference in materials here. But let's talk about the Tekto first. Now, this is an American assembled knife with some Chinese parts, I guess. It does have the carbon fiber with the liner lock here and the steel liners, deep carry pocket clip on this thing. And the screws are inset there, but the pocket clip is not. It's got a decent back spacer here with a glass breaker on the end. My goodness. And some texturing here on the carbon fiber. This feels like, for me anyway, because I'm partial to larger knives, because of my extra large hands, although I will give this knife design a bit of credit. I can get 4 full fingers on it. This feels like shaking a hand with a toddler. It's just a little small for my liking. Now, the texturing on the handle scales here on the carbon fiber are actually really good. Even though it's smooth overall here, the small cuts that they made here in the handle scales actually work fairly well. They're fairly set apart. They're actually really grippy. The jimping here on the blade and on the back of the liners, that's fairly grippy as well. It feels good in hand. It's not bad. I can feel that pocket clip just a little bit hitting me. It's not bad, though. If I were bearing down on weight and really putting this knife to work, I don't think it would be much of an issue, honestly. I just really want to talk about, even though the ergos are good and the materials are fantastic, for $140, okay? I just don't believe that there's enough material here to warrant that price, even if it is assembled in America. I don't care, because you know what? This right here, this Ganzo, now, granted, this is a steel frame lock. The pocket clip screws are not inset, and it's quite a bit heavier, but basically the same knife, right? For an extreme, and I know this is a Chinese knife, I get that. Great. But just because anytime you slap USA on a knife doesn't mean you get to ask a premium price. Now, I'm certain that it does bring the price up on, a cost of labor, that sort of thing. I get it. It's a little bit more expensive to put together and sell knives here in the United States. I get that. But to be asking for so much more, $140 for D2 steel? Come on, man. I can get D2 steel on any budget knife from China any day of the week, and fairly good design and results. Sometimes even better designs, even though these two are they're in the same family, at least. There may be a little bit of differences here, blade thickness, that sort of thing. But for the most part, other than the glass breaker and the pocket clip, obviously the materials that they're using here for the handle skills, they're different. I get it. But just that the price is so drastic between the two. And for this Tekto, which I had high hopes for because it was an American-made knife that I paid good money for, I was hoping that it would have exceptional, stellar action. Honestly, it's just run-of-the-mill average. It's literally, I mean, it's not bad. You know, I don't want to ding it too hard, but it's only like a 6.8. You know, it's just above average. This frame lock, I don't even like frame locks, has better action though. This has like a 7.5 action. Heck, even 7.7. It's that good. Now, I just bring this up because I know so many people are just dead set on, hey, if it's American made, it's better. It's not. I'm sorry. The materials might be better, but who cares? You know, if I'm buying a knife this size anyway, I'm really not looking to beat the crap out of it. This is not a knife that I'm going to use and abuse anyway. So it doesn't really matter what the materials are, honestly. For a knife this size, this is for opening Amazon boxes. Maybe, you know, as a truck knife, as a car knife. You know, it's nothing crazy. Anyway, I guess that's my rant. It wasn't very coherent or intelligible, for that matter. Let's see if this Tekto works with a glove. Can we get in there? I don't think so. It's pretty hard. I can't get in there. There's no, you know, there's no hardly any, I should say. There is some. There is a little bit of relief cut in there, but I have to get way back there with the glove to get it to work. So this thing is only, I guess it is glove approved because I can at least actuate it. Now, if I'm going to bother to compare, okay, the Ganzo is not that much better. Okay, there's just not a lot of room, even though there is some relief in there. Also, there's not a whole lot of room to get in there with a glove. These are just smaller knives. Let's just face it. These are not really... You're not really going to be wearing a glove with these knives anyway. So all in all, you know, the purpose of this video is really to point out the difference between a $140 knife and a $25 knife, and that you don't need a ton of money to get basically the same design and even maybe even a little bit better action. Yes, this one is heavier if you're concerned about weight, but if 3 ounces of weight is going to hold you back, and you're willing to spend, you know, basically $100+ more to reduce your weight by 3 ounces, I think that's a little ridiculous. I think, honestly, the manufacturers of some of these knives are just asking too much for what they are. Thank God this thing showed up sharp, otherwise that was going to be another point of contention. I'm sure this one did too, though. Although I will say, the geometry on the Tekto is better. Only because it's thinner, though, so it cuts a little bit better. It's a little bit slicier. Anyway, we'll see you guys in the next one.